Hello, we're back. After 20 plus hours streaming on this channel this weekend, we are back in my normal time slot on Tuesday afternoon. Hi, everybody. Will Anderson here. The Crescent City Cup is over, but that is no reason to shy away from some of this amazing content that was aired here over the weekend and on Monday. So I thought what we would do today is just take a look at some of the more interesting games that took place on the stream this weekend. Obviously, if anybody is stopping by the channel, would love to say hi. Hey, Tactics, how are you? Thank you for being here. I think the intent is that these may become YouTube videos or other form of content here, but no reason not to turn it into an interactive experience on Twitch as well. Just because happy to address questions or talk about these games sort of as a team, as a group. There's a lot of stuff that happens in real time that it actually benefits. It benefits us a lot to take a deeper dive through some of these positions without the ticking clock that the players are experiencing. So basically, I just thought I would pinpoint a couple of games, and yeah, I agree. I think hey, Jello Mocha, Sood, you guys were pretty consistent presences throughout the weekend. I thank you guys both for that. But yeah, trying to just make sure that when we get this really great content, that it does indeed persist beyond just the live stream. And of course, I'll be ready also to play a few games on Play Scrabble after this. We'll go for maybe an hour and a half, something closer to an hour and a half or 2 hours. Still a little fatigued from the weekend. So this is a really interesting game between Rashid Balagun and the eventual winner, Dave Koenig. This was definitely throughout the course of most tournaments, even if you're going to be the winner, you have to overcome a game that doesn't go your way. Hey, Weibin, how are you? And I think this was that game for Dave. This was a really tough one for him, some really interesting decisions on both sides. And let's just dive in. So basically, this game starts with Rashid going first. You see his rack here. I have my little screen drawing. Hopefully, this will help me illustrate some ideas, and we could turn this into kind of a discussion together. So I think it makes sense for Rashid to exchange here. He could play something like Uoi. This is one of these classic words that if you're playing with the Collins Dictionary, you're going to see this word and you're going to say, what the hell is that? But it is an archaic word that is sort of its use in Scrabble outstrips its use in everyday language for sure. You're not likely to see too many people crying this out on the streets, but in a Scrabble game, you'll see it all the time because it's got 4 vowels and no consonant to be found. That being said, if Rashid was going to play this here, it gives Dave a whole bunch of really nice letters to potentially play bingos through. And if any of the 7-letter words that Dave might have are very likely to still play alongside Uoi. So I'm pretty sure that I do like the idea that Rashid should exchange here. Dave, with the only play that hits the Q on this double letter score from his rack here, he's got the Q and the Z. He finds the right play here for sure. Rashid exchanging vowels and drawing more. But I think this is a pretty reasonable play by him here. And Dave plays Zooey. We like this too. So the players are relatively, cruising through the early going. All right, now, this is a really interesting situation. So here, this is the first kind of curious situation at all. So there's only one bingo. You see that, repaving here. And that is what Rashid plays. And it's hard to consider that to be a mistake. But there was a really cool additional play here. If you were to know it, verquire. Yes, a really obscure word again. It scores 57 points. It burns the blank as well. So the question is it worth giving up 7 points here to play this? And I'm very curious about this because my gut instinct says it's worth some amount of points not to play repaving, just because after repaving, you give up a wide open triple. That's easy to hit. You give up a double-double. You give up all these different tiles to potentially play bingos through. The question is all of those factors together, is that worth a 7-point sacrifice? It's not really clear to me. So this is where we use our computer analysis tool, and I'm just curious what it's going to say. So by simulating like this, basically the computer is giving each player completely random tiles after the play of repaving and the play of require, and trying to figure out which one of these does better for the player in terms of, are you up by more points after your next turn, after this play or the other? And it seems like repaving appears to be better. Hey, WTF, how are you? It was a treat to watch you play. How did it go? Not sure if you are feeling good. I think we had some really impressive. The Dave Wiegand game was a lot of fun to watch you play. So says haven't caught up on the streams. Well, you featured prominently in the early going there. So the analysis tool suggests that repaving is indeed a smidge better than require. It's not worth 7 points. Maybe it would be worth 3 or 4 points to sacrifice and play a little bit safer play here. So Rashid making the right move. Really nice play here by Dave in response. He sees that he has a pretty obscure 7-letter bingo here of Scaglia, and he plays it with Squire. You could potentially also play this word here if you wanted to. It scores significantly fewer points and doesn't really offer a ton in the way of, well, it offers a little bit in the way of defense, in the sense that these tiles of repaving are pretty much completely blocked, but you still give up the Squire's hook, which is still kind of scary given that this is such a heavy hitting set of letters. So you're not making out that much better on defense. So nice play by Dave to play Scaglia on the other side here of Quire. All right, this was a play that we were confused by for Rashid. He plays Ba for quite the low score here, only a few points. So it seems like there probably were other choices. First of all, you can play something like Bright at the bottom of the board for 39. That looks pretty good. The issue with that, though, is Rashid is trailing in the game by over 100 points. And when you're trailing by that deficit, getting a bingo down, getting those big chunks of scores that you get when you play a bingo, an extra 50 points, that's definitely on Rashid's mind. So that's probably why he played shorter and kept more tiles together here. Good tiles that bingo a lot of the time. The problem is you can really continue to do that and play shorter in a way that scores a lot more. This is a little scary, the play that the computer is suggesting before simulation, just because you're opening up really easy to hit responses in the triple lane. But I think there were other choices that will probably do pretty well here. Even just fishing the H off by itself. Yeah, so you can see just plopping the H down here could be a good option, just because this leave ABEIRT is actually surprisingly useful to hit this C right here. There are a lot of bingos that will play through this C with that leave. But yeah, I don't mind Bright, just because even though you need a bingo, you still need a lot of points too to make that bingo really count. And AE is not the worst starting point. If you draw some good low point consonants, you'll still bingo a fair amount of the time after that. So I think this was a misevaluation by Rashid, but it works out for him anyway, as after Dave's next play of Jewy, which is a fish, Rashid plays Reattain, and he's able to hit both sorry, let me get that off. He's able to hit both double word scores in the process and get 82 points. So that cuts into the gap quite a bit. Then Dave has a next. Yeah, some of the racks I don't have because I fell behind. I think this rack. Well, we could always go back and watch the stream to find the rack. But there were one or two racks that I didn't get in time. But I could definitely fill in those gaps just by rewatching. The picture quality was so good. There's no excuse for missing a rack on my part, other than basically we had a system in place where I was kind of quackling along with the game and then updating some other files with the score and tracking so that they look a little bit better than the Quackle window on screen. So that's just a process where in the future maybe we'll have a designated person doing that or something like that. So there was another layer of complexity, but really Christian was handling everything behind the scenes, our producer, Christian K. So after Rashid bingos, Dave has this kind of weird in-between rack where he has decent bingo tiles, but he's also winning by 58, so he doesn't really have to worry about bingoing. He has to try to keep the board more closed. And yeah, as Weibin points out in the chat, Prefard is actually a 7-letter word without a home on this board, which of course is one of the great tragedies of Scrabble when that happens, when you have a really cool obscure word that you see but nowhere to place it on the board. So Dave made a play that I kind of liked here. There were a couple different choices. So the play that the computer wants, quote unquote, is frap, but once we simulate this play more carefully, it's not going to like this play anymore, just because it takes an E-hook that you really don't need to create for your opponent here, I don't think. Not only that, it makes a good scoring spot here on top. Well, I guess this scoring spot is still pretty good, but basically this play opens up a ton of bingos with the E-hook that you maybe shouldn't be doing at this score. Yeah, we can see if Quackle wants to be aggressive here. Let's just have a look and see what it thinks. Yeah, it is liking it for its offensive purposes. I think it's also liking the play that Dave did make of Parged, which is much safer. Just playing down here at the base of the board, taking a really solid score, 33 points. This is not the easiest place to hit with a bingo because it has to start with a vowel, so you're not giving a ton back to your opponent with this play. But it does like this. I think very few humans would be very, very comfortable with frap. Again, just because you have a lead in this game, if you're in Dave's shoes here, 228 to 170. But maybe this is a teaching moment where you should just put the pedal to the metal. It should also be noted that there actually are not that many E's. You can see the tracking to the right of the game board here, which is roughly right here. You can see that there are a bunch of E's. Hey, Nitz, what's going on? Nice to see you. Nitz says CCC was awesome. Great to hear. Yeah, we'll have to debrief about that. I had major FOMO sitting on the broadcast watching all of you guys compete. CL Smith concurs. I'm so thrilled. It was so cool to see the standings and be able to say, hey, that's a streamer I know, that's a streamer I know. And not only that, these are first-timers, first-time players playing in their first ever Scrabble tournament. I was really, really just, it just made me so happy to see that. So nice to see you guys in the chat. Glad that you guys had a lot of fun. And yeah, not a lot of good vibes there. So the aggressive play here, I'm okay with the choice that Dave made here. I think this is sort of the more human choice. And now things start to get interesting. So Rashid makes a beautiful play here. This is clearly correct. Iconify. Very, very nicely spotted by him. And he uses 6 tiles. That's relevant because here is kind of the pivotal moment of the game, right? So here we have Dave is now in this situation. You can see he's up by 61, which is a good solid sized lead. but it's really not enough for comfort. And I think that informs Dave's choice here. So basically, in this situation, Dave plays Fa. And why he does this is that he's up by 61. That's a good size lead. But Rashid has just played 6 tiles. And that, in general, at this level of Scrabble, if your opponent plays 1 tile, 2 tiles, 3 tiles, something low like that, you have to worry that the 4 or 5 or 6 tiles that they're keeping on their rack are really strong. But when your opponent plays 6 tiles in one move like this, that means their remaining tiles are much closer to random. And when your opponent's tiles are random, you can worry a little bit less that they're going to have that perfect rack that allows them to pounce through this. Now, that's not to say you can't worry at all. And in his post-game interview with us, Dave did acknowledge that, he knew it was a risk opening this spot. But so Fa is, with this rack, those are the 3 tiles you would most like to play, and they score very well, 34 points in this spot. They only score 2 points fewer here, but the reason Dave opted to go with this positioning of the word was that the odds of scoring something huge through the W is really not that good, but the odds of playing a big overlapping play that scores 40 or 50 points in this spot with the hooks to JA, ya, on the board are enormous, right? There's so many things that fit here. You have a B, you have a G, you have an I, you have a K, you have an M that's still in the bag, even though you would retain one of the M's. And you have an R. You've got, I think that's about it. That's a lot of tiles, though. That's easily, at least a third, probably closer to half of the letters remaining will fit in this spot and allow really heavy-hitting overlapping plays. So the odds of a scary play happening here are much higher than the odds of a scary play happening in this position. The problem is when a scary play happens in this position, it's devastating. And when a scary play happens here, it's still manageable. So Dave had to weigh pretty tricky risk there. Oddly, I think the best play here is probably something like Whame. And I don't think we spotted this on the broadcast. And the reason that Whame is such a good play, and Whame is a silly word that I think is an archaic word for your stomach, and there are other words like whameful and stuff like this. I think Whame is good for a couple reasons. One, it scores just as well as the other positions of Fa. The next reason that Whame is so good is that when you play Whame, your leftover letters are F-A-R, and those letters happen to play extremely perfectly right here. Any 5-letter word that you have that extends on top of here, fared, fairer, Pharaoh, something like Pharaoh is a very probable draw here. Even something like farts or farted, which you can't play on some of the lexicons on Scrabble Go for some reason. And yeah, as you guys are pointing out, there actually is an upside as well of keeping this F here too, for the reasons of scoring with those weird extensions. Again, the Whame is your belly here. And by the way, just in case, if anybody is curious, we do... Oh, I just scared the heck out of my cat. But we have a little cat rump right here, too. So Zoe is helping us analyze these games. Have a safe flight, Nits. Good to see you, of course. Oh, I think I dropped something on the bottom here. Let's see if I can avoid causing my computer to crash. But the Whameful spot is nice. That's definitely a fun element of this. But I really think that setting your F-A-R combination up is a really wonderful attribute of this play. And you don't really incur a ton of risk here. It's not going to be easy for Rashid to hit this spot anywhere near as hard as you can if you're Dave. So I think that's probably the play. I'm just curious. Let's just take a look and see what it likes. Okay, so the choice of Whame is doing well, but it certainly still falls behind it wants the other position of Fa. So Hey, thanks, Nits. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I gotta say, at the end of the day yesterday, I just curled up into the fetal position. I was just gone. There was no energy left. This is just a 2-ply. I could definitely change it to a higher number of plies, just to get a better idea for what's likely to happen in the future of the game. But you can see this play of Wame is doing quite well. So I think this might be the play that I would opt for here, seeing all of the choices and all of the attributes of the candidates here. And those top 3 candidates here being the play Dave made, the play he was strongly considering making, and then this nice alternative to those that doesn't really get you hit that hard. So, of course, if you saw the highlight of the stream, you know that after Dave's play of Fa, Rashid, to his E on the rack, he drew LNOST blank, and he plays toe lines for a triple, 149 points, completely changing the complexion of this game. There were a bunch of other things that were there, too. 3 total words, townlets, townless, and toe lines for 149 points apiece. So Rashid had his pick of really big plays, and obviously that just totally swung the game around there. Yeah, townless, having no towns, that very pithy definition. There are some less words that are just really silly. I think one of my favorite less words is probably this. Lacking a poet, poetless. Why is that in the dictionary? We just don't. There's no way to know. So anyway, tough break for Dave. I think his play was entirely defensible. There's a logic to it. Of course, if you're going to play that, you have to live with the consequences that some percentage of the time you're going to get hit with a massive play and a triple, and that, unfortunately for Dave, is what happened here. But still, he's in good shape. On this turn, you can see he has an S, he has decent bingo tiles, and I think he actually deliberated, and I think he originally put ham down in this spot before eventually playing here, and that seemed reasonable just because you keep decent letters, and maybe so for Dave, holding AEGRS, the threats here for him is he's got a lane right here. He has a 7s lane. This is the most salient threat, I think, from Rashid's point of view. Dave can threaten a 7-letter word here. But maybe the real prize would be to draw into an 8-letter word ending in T, which you can do a lot of the time holding your E and S together. The reason that I say that is that this spot is never getting blocked, whereas because there's more action going on in this quadrant, you can reasonably expect Rashid to make a play that gets down in the way there. And sure enough, that's exactly what he does. He plays bat. I think this makes complete sense from Rashid's POV. Amazingly, though, again, we saw this on the broadcast. This is a tough one. I chalk this up potentially to, first, you can see that let me just cut to the chase here. There is a bingo of dragster here. The trick is, if this T were wide open in space, like if there was a T right there with nothing else around it, I am very sure that Dave would find dragster. Because the T is slightly obscured in both spots, now you're introducing sort of complexity to seeing that there even is a bingo in that spot. And we saw a few players miss words like this, that, it's not every missed bingo is created equal. Sometimes you're missing a word that's just free and easy, unimpeded by any other letters on the board. And other times you have to find bingos that are really obstructed, which this one is too. So this one would have been a big swing for Dave to see. It gets past him. And that's really finally that's kind of his last chance to get back into the game. Rashid plays dink to continue to, close down this part of the board. Dave continues to try to open things. Things are getting bleak here just because there's so little space. So I do understand the rationale. This is kind of maybe worth having a look and seeing if there are any other fishes that The computer engine wants. Oh yeah, it wanted this play. The reason that the computer wants this positioning of OU instead of the place where Dave did play it up here is just that it doesn't block this area and potentially gives you some outside chance of playing through the G or playing to the T at the top of the board. So it doesn't really close anything that currently exists. Whereas this, the play that Dave makes here, right here, this actually might block certain bingos that he could draw from the G. And it's actually kind of difficult to slot a 7-letter word here with the overlaps that he's creating. It's not really the perfect positioning for this. So that's, at this point, we're really splitting hairs. Yeah, you could do something like Rogue for sure. Rogue looks like a reasonable choice. The only issue I have with that is it uses a few more tiles than I would like, including that E. If you don't redraw just right, you're still going to be in trouble, but maybe that's the way to go. I think that's a reasonable choice for sure, Weibin. Yeah, good point, Jello Mochas, as well. This could easily create a situation where you score well and block both of these threats after a fish in that spot. So anyway, Rashid is able to make a nice blocking play. I think this is probably better positionally than playing your X in this spot with Exul. That's a really cool spot. It scores 41, but playing Mux here does block off the G and the new spot that Dave has created. So I think that makes sense for Rashid. Then basically Dave grabs for as many points as he can, but it's too late. Rashid enlarges his lead beyond Dave being able to catch him at this point. So couple really interesting decisions in this game. I thought this was one of the more meaty games in terms of strategic considerations, certainly from Dave's POV, a couple from Rashid's as well. So yeah, let's see. What's going to happen if I close this? It's just going to delete. Oh, right. What's best in the end game? Yeah. Okay. This is always good practice to look at, some end game positions. So the question is slots best in the end game, which I'm guessing it's probably going to be pretty good. So slots through this T, getting Esquires looks, yeah, like it's just a smidge better than REOS. Good call. That's a very nice spot there, making the ohm hook in the center of the board. Not easy to see. And I'm curious. I feel like something that I'm just realizing now isn't this? Let me just see. What am I thinking of here? Is that a word? Yes, it is. But is this also a word? Yeah. Okay. So theoretically, if you had the time for a 2-turn sequence involving this, you could, you'd need slightly different letters. But this word actually takes an S hook on it as well. So there might be some situations where your opponent can't bingo out that it's actually better for you to hold this S in reserve and then play it with Esquires on the subsequent turn. But not this situation, of course, as Rashid can just end the game immediately. So, all right, let's see what happens here if I pop this off and it's just me for a moment. I'm curious where the Austin Puneet game is. I think that was like game 15, maybe? Yeah, okay. So this is another one that I just thought was unbelievable, this game. This one should definitely benefit from some analysis here, because this one was extremely entertaining. Let me change the round ID here. So this was round 15. And it was Austin Shin versus Puneet Sharma. This was highly notable. Yeah, a highly notable game between these two in many ways. So, yeah, the game starts out, and both players are just kind of coming out guns a-blazing here, but certainly Puneet much more so. So Pretty reasonable start for Austin. He has 2 E's, 2 T's, and a G and a B, and he's able to undouble those duplicates and get rid of his B and G in one move. That seems clearly correct. Again, whenever you have those duplicated letters, it starts to become a priority to see if you can use one of the two or two of the three, however many that you have on the rack. And the reasoning for that is just that it tends to be the case that letters with nice balanced collections of different vowels and consonants lead to you having more options on your subsequent turn. So we do have this sort of general understanding at this level of Scrabble that duplicates are a thing to avoid much of the time, not every time, but most of the time. So Puneet draws Gunir. That's his only spot for it. Oddly, Austin challenges it just to be sure. So 5 extra points in the bank for Puneet. And this was a play that had reverberations here, right? So totalize the choice for Austin. I think first of all, the best thing that you can do in situations like this is not take too long, right? There are a lot of options here that score through the eye of Gunir and hit both of the double word scores. So if we just look at the options, let's see how many of them there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, although some of those are totalized with different blanks. So there's something like 10 or 11 different words that you can play through the eye. So rather than, and we have another unplanned cat cam here to help us. So cat cam lovers rejoice. We got the cats in the house. I thought I turned that off. Sorry, gang. I think you got enough plugs for that. Although I we're still going to be playing on there after this. So I guess it is relevant to plug play Scrabble. So Coleist. So what are the objectives here with whatever bingo you want to play? You want to play something through the eye that scores 78 points, and then to try and choose between all of these words. First of all, you have to be able to see all of these words to make the correct choice. Yeah, play something that doesn't yield liard like 15 turns later, I should say. Yeah, for sure. That would be quite the forethought to think about that. But in the short term, the thing that you're thinking about when you're playing through this eye for 78 points is what letters am I exposing to my opponent? So if you can, I hope this is very scary because the cat is sitting right here next to the mouse. I hope he doesn't start attacking my hand as I try to continue this description. But so the goal, as I see it, is if you can place your most useful letters right next to this I here, or in these spots, right? If you can place your S or some of these other good tiles in the rack close to here, that is preferable. And the reason for that is, hold on, why is this not? See if I can get the, I see. I just need to change this a little bit. Yeah, okay. Hold on, let me try this again. 1, nope, that's definitely not right. What happened here? My drawing on stream got adjusted weirdly. Okay, let's try again. So I'm talking about this square. There we go. Perfect. So playing through this I, it would be ideal if you could get your best letters, especially the S, to appear kind of close to this I. And the reason for that is when you play something that places the S here or somewhere out in space, it's much easier for your opponent to hit this S with a bingo of their own in response. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm curious. Yes, stolonate. That would be very, very impressive. I'm not familiar with that word. Loathes is also kind of a cool choice, actually. This is really defensive, and I guess the problem with it is it still yields this big spot. So I think it's not going to be enough defensive to be worth it over the 78-point options. So I'm just curious if the computer is going to favor any of these more than the other. It's possible that it's going to like Totalize. And that was the choice that Austin made, primarily because it places that S in a very difficult spot to hit, right? It's really hard to play to an S that's completely obscured, right? You need all these overlaps if you're going to play to the S here. Now, that being said, Totalize also takes a ton of hooks here, too. So in this spot, you can now have a D, an S, and I believe an R. So that is the price that you pay for, placing this S in a spot that's harder to hit. But ultimately, you can see that this was a good choice by Austin, and he made it very quickly. But, of course, this incredible play by Puneet, he has Benortw. He's probably thinking to himself, man, I wish I had an S so that I could play Brownest. And when he sees Totalize get played, he's probably, he's crestfallen because he's saying, oh, well, there's that S I need, but it's obstructed. I can't hit it. But in fact, when you actually take a look, and Puneet eventually does see this, you can see all of the overlaps that are played here are valid words. So Brownest, amazingly, still fitting through the S of Totalize with 5 overlapping plays. A beautiful, beautiful play by Puneet, and he goes up by quite a bit. So he's up by 60 now. And Austin's rack, not great. He's, again, same thing we said with the Begat turn. 2 L's, 2 T's. This isn't the combination that you want. So WTF says, I was crestfallen many times. Yeah, there were a couple draws you had that were pretty gnarly in those games. But you did get to play Cruzados against Dave Wiegand for 100,000 points. So I would hang my hat on that as a fun moment. That was kind of a highlight candidate, and until or maybe it was before that Chris Lipe and Austin Shin had the exact same rack middle of the game. That's a pretty striking highlight from day one. Otherwise, it might have been Cruzados. So anyway, Austin plays Bolt here. This is pretty reasonable. I think getting an S hook on the board is helpful, although maybe obstructing the much better one is maybe not so good for the S. But again, the point, though, is getting rid of one of the L's, one of the T's, and keeping a pretty nice combination of letters could be the way to go here. It seems to, I'm not sure why Blot would necessarily be that much better than Bolt here. Interesting that it likes this too. Really pinning all of your hopes on playing something with Totalizes next turn, which I think you got to be wary of. So I kind of like this more than some of the plays that the computer likes, but I think Blot or Bolt is certainly a very reasonable play for Austin. And then, sure enough, Puneet drawing the second blank and playing his best bingo of pitchier through the tee. So Puneet's batting 1,000 here. He's bingoed 3 times, and we have some competition for my lap brewing here. This guy wants to sit on the lap, but it's occupied currently. So yeah, Goonier, clearly correct. Brownest, clearly correct. And pitchier looks like it's clearly correct, even though you set up this really nice spot to score to the triple. You're getting 88 points in the bargain. You're going to do a lot. A lot of bingos or a lot of plays that have warts are going to be more palatable if you're getting 88 points for them. Yeah, Mephitic is another option here. It scores 6 fewer points. It doesn't give quite as bad of a comeback to the triple, but I think it's not 6 points less dangerous than the other play. So good job by Puneet. Of course, Austin has a bingo of Insulate. We did like his choice of Insulate here over Lutenist to the tee, a player of the lute. And the reason that we like Austin's choice here is that Insulate creates all of these additional threats. He's down by over 100. He's going to need a lot more help, even after his bingo, to continue to come back in this game. So even though there's a huge risk in opening this spot, I think it is warranted just because Lutenist, you can see, what options does this give Austin for the future? It's going to be very difficult to play a 7-letter word on top, and none of these letters can accommodate 8-letter bingos. There's just not enough room. So no real future after this play on the top part of the board. So other options, you could do saluting, but I think you might as well get 3 extra points from the bargain. And as we said, Lutenist is just not the way to go here. So liking Austin's choice there. Clear best option for Puneet here of fixed for 60. He's just cruising. This isn't a bingo, but it might as well be. 60 points is a huge amount. And the CK combination in the leave just harmonizes so nicely. It's going to help him score very well on subsequent turns too. So I think that makes a lot of sense again. And back over to Austin, down something like 130. He plays Peanut, easily his biggest scoring play. That's really, really nice to spot that with all 3 of these overlaps through the end. That's not the easiest play to see, but Austin does find it there. And now I think this is, so I think I said this on the broadcast. So knowing now that what we know, which we saw that Austin drew wiremen, right? So basically, not to, you can just see that if I change this rack to wiremen, it would go down right here for 92 points. And I thought that there were many options that Puneet had with his actual rack. He had Assini and KI. I thought that is going to be really, really tempting for him to play something like Kina's here. It scores 32. It gets rid of at least 1 of his 3 eyes. Hey, Bess, nice to see you, by the way. Yeah, this was a pretty crazy game. So this was definitely a standout as far as entertainment value in the broadcast. So glad that you were able to catch this one. And Kina here also is kind of tempting, just because even though you keep C and then 3 eyes, it is a little bit scary to leave this spot open here, just because you're going to get hit sometimes with a big J play here for 60 or something like that. So this is kind of a low priority spot to maybe try and block. So I thought Puneet was going to play here or here, and then Austin would play wiremen and get back into the game. Instead, Puneet, with eyes in the back of his head, plays Assini, and part of the reason that he takes a lower score to do this is that this is a play that uses 2 of his 3 eyes, right? These other plays still leave him with duplicated eyes. And, we mentioned it on the Begat turn and on the Bolt turn. You see these duplicated letters that the players are really eager to get rid of. Same goes for this situation and Puneet. 3 eyes. The eye is a particularly terrible tile to be duplicated. So I definitely get why Puneet wanted to do this. And of course, I thought this would just be devastating to Austin's win chances here, because now his wiremen play gets blocked. He has nowhere to play that 90-point bingo. And he's still down by over 100. So he contents himself with playing Mew. I guess it was also an option to play Wine at the bottom. That seems pretty reasonable too. This is definitely a good letter to put out in space, this E. So, man, why is this happening? I think it's changing the game board size as yeah, that's it. It's the tracking window that's changing size. Okay, I get it now. Fair enough. So basically that spot is this going to still work? My nice little telestration effect. Hold on. Oh, I see. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so this E out in space is still a really good threat for bingos, so wine does have its advantages there. But Mew is also nice just to create a spot that's any play here. It's going to be pretty difficult to, well, actually, as I think about it, this spot is blocking the possibility. I was going to say a play here is going to yield a potential bingo lane in response, but it really doesn't because of pitch here. So maybe I'm liking Wine slightly better than Mew here. But it's close. Mew, the nice thing about Mew, I guess, is that instead of keeping an M on the leave, it keeps an N, which is a little bit better of a bingo tile for sure. So close plays there. Looks like a reasonable play here of Ferk, I think, scores more. And Figo, the O is a little bit better of a bingo tile than the K. Maybe it's worth thinking about playing Figo instead just because any bingo from the K to a triple is going to score hugely more than it would with the O, but it's also significantly less likely. So liking Puneet's choice there. All right, now strap in. This is where it gets silly. This game starts to get silly in a hurry. So you can see basically 2/3 of the way through this game, there's 33 tiles. You can see right here where my cursor is. Let me see. I'll draw it up here. Right there, 33 unseen tiles. That means we're basically right at the, well, a little bit before the 2/3 mark in the game. And now it's Austin's time to shine here. So he draws a Z, and this was a really tricky one here. He plays ZEA, and you can see the valuation of these plays are very, very close. And that tells you something. What it tells you is that the N combined with all these other tiles, DEIR, is a really, really strong combination. So this number on the right is basically the sum of the score and the value of the leave. So 41 points for Zine, which plays right here. This is a really, really nice Z overlapping play. Scores 41, and roughly the value of DEIR on a neutral board or on all boards, I think it's sort of like the general value of these letters removed from the specific board, right? This has nothing to do with the particular board we're playing on right now. This is just the general value of this leave is about 10.9. And that's where you get this 51 number. So the fact that Z scores 32, 9 points less, but yet the valuation is so close, that tells you how much stronger the N is with the rest of these letters. It adds a lot of bingos. So is the value of the leave also partially based on the unseen tiles? No, all of that, it's a great question. All of those specific considerations in this game, whether that be the board, the unseen tiles, all of those things come into play once you actually simulate using the board position and start to draw some random racks and see how they perform. So these numbers are what's known as static. They're static. They are before any of the actual sort of live considerations of this board. But yeah, it's a clever idea. It's possible that keeping that N probably helps you bingo more from this N. It probably helps you sometimes get bingos from this K. The N and the K it definitely helps. Yeah, so ZEA is great because it controls the controls the TLS line. Let's see. What do you mean by that, Weibin? So if we're gonna have this on the board, I mean, this is gonna be, oh, yes. Okay. So right. Okay, there is another, true. So blocking this spot now before Puneet can play there makes a ton of sense, just because one thing that's kind of scary if you're Austin is that the QU combination is still lurking. You could easily get hit with a play like this that would just end the game. There's other big scoring plays with a J you might be able to see play through there. So by playing in this spot, you stop Puneet from doing so himself, and you keep the N, which greatly improves that DEIR leave. So this is like a really, really interesting. I'm curious to see how they sim, just because, yeah, I mean, you can see the winning chances, though. Look at that. Winning percentage, according to the computer, 1.5%. So these two plays are basically a coin flip. I like the idea that Austin goes with here of playing up there and keeping the N and just maxing his chance out for bingoing. And this is a tricky. So this is where I think Puneet makes a really good play here of Agio just grabbing a bunch of points, not worrying too much about blocking any of these threats. He doesn't have, with this rack, AAGIOOV. He doesn't have a play that reaches here. That would certainly be his first preference. But barring that, he makes his one of his highest scoring plays and undoubles his A&O in the process. I think this is a pretty reasonable choice for Puneet. And again, his winning chances at 98% at this point in the game. Okay. Now, after a long think, I remember Austin thought for a while on this, but you could see he only has one bingo. It's Donaries, and he can't be happy with this because it only scores 65. You really would love in this situation to have drawn into a bingo to the K that scores 90 or to the M that scores in the high 80s. Instead, he has to take a play for only 65. That's not what he's after, and he's trailing by 120 odd points here, but he has to take it. That's his only bingo. All right, now here is where this play looks completely normal, right? This looks completely regular. Oh, was there the valuation of dog? Yeah, oh, that's simply because in general, the valuation of EINRS is incredibly high. The reason for that is a testament to the strength of ERS surrounded by other different low point bingo tiles. ERS is an incredibly powerful 3 letters, and because your odds of drawing a bingo after this play are so high, that's why the valuation is so high. The valuation is kind of bakes in not just the present score, but your odds of getting a really good score in the future. And with this leave, you are so likely to get a bingo and score 50 bonus points with it that you're going to get these huge valuations. Now, the board is not great for this leave. So when we sim this is going to probably drop a little bit. It's probably going to drop. Well, it doesn't really drop in valuation, actually. Maybe a little bit. It looks like it dropped a couple points. Something like 5 points. Beyond, I think the static valuation was something like 46, and it drops down to 40, which is sort of a testament to the fact that this board does not really have a good S hook available. So Goonier is an adjective, no hooks there. There's no room for, like, spitchier, if that was a word. It's not. There's no good S hook there. So because there's no really good S hook, it's not an ideal board for this leave, but it's still a plenty good enough leave to satisfy you, except that there is a bingo here. Hey, Mitsurugi, Agio is a key point. Yeah, I think anything from this M would have pretty much effectively ended the game. So that is the timing playing a huge role right there for Puneet. He just doesn't have any words there, and if he did, it would obviously block. Just imagine a 6-letter play from the M. All else being equal, it would block Donaries, and that would be pretty much game over. But Scrabble games do turn on these tiny little differences like that between plays. So yeah, so here, anyway, this is a key part. So you can see this is the classic difference between the static evaluation, which loves as the top option, the play that Puneet made. But static evaluation you have to take into account at this part of the game this is where static evaluation ceases to be as automatically accurate. Often it still is very accurate, but variations in the board, and in particular variations in the unseen tiles, dramatically affect the quality of these plays at this point in the game. So the key thing to realize is that of the 17 unseen tiles, count for yourself how many of these are vowels, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously the Y is kind of a hybrid vowel. But when I'm looking at this and I see only 4 vowels between A, E, I, O, U and all these other consonants, you have to factor that into your decision making here. Not only that, it's not just that either. The consonants that are available are ones that in particular, consonants like the J and the Q are 2 consonants that eat their way through vowels at a very, very rapid clip, especially the Q. The Q, surrounded by consonants, is just a death sentence. It's incredibly toxic to your rack. So the fact that not only is there a dearth of vowels, but also there are some power tiles lurking that love to, chew up as many vowels as they can get their hands on. Now is the time to realize that keeping a ton of vowels on your rack is actually really important going into this end of the game. And if Puneet made a mistake, and really it's hard to point to any of these plays and say that he did, this is it. It's this, and the crazy thing about it is that before evaluating for the specific board and for the unseen tiles, this is the play that the computer engine initially wants. But once we simulate it, you can see it's not going to want it anymore, because in so many of these, iterations of the simulation, Puneet will pick up the Q, he'll pick up the J and 2 other consonants and have no great way to deal with this. So you can see the computer wants him to make a play like Yuva or Avo or Ova, keeping an overload of vowels. You normally would never want to keep 3 vowels and an S or any other consonant. But in this situation, there is a gap in quality. But again, even Puneet's play is going to win 95% of the time. So he's still doing just fine. He's still doing fine. Yeah, the V, that's another great point, Tactics. Another great point is that because there is another V unseen, you see it right here in the unseen tiles. Hopefully this line works. There's another, yeah, that's okay, Weibin. That's not a banned word. We can talk about Woogles on this channel. Yeah, so that is why at least all of the major online platforms do keep the, we got a cat is potentially getting up. Oh man, that's going to be so nice. My legs are so stiff. She's been on there for a while. Okay. We still do have a cat here, though. He's still chilling right here. Oh, okay. Now I have reclaimed my desk here, I think. So this is like my normal computer chair height. So you can see that I have been sitting at an interesting angle. So yeah, the cats run this place. I'm just a passenger in this home. So yeah, the idea of using the the V, really, really helpful, just because the other one is lurking, and anytime you draw the second one, it's going to be very bad news to deal with 2 Vs. A V by itself is already hard enough to use, but the V combined with another V or with a Q is really bad. So I mean, this is like the tiniest little, mistake, but it has huge repercussions over the remainder of the game. So, all right, so Puneet plays Auda, and we move on. And this is the play that Weibin made mention of before, of this beautiful play of Liard again, another archaic word. It scores 51. So what are the good things about this? It scores 51 points, obviously, with Austin now rapidly closing the gap in score. You see 343 to 411 after this. That's good enough that it scores 51. But to put both an R and a D two of the best letters to end 8-letter words with out in space. Like I mean, that you could hardly do better to create more threats to potentially draw. And I guess it should be noted, I think we noted on the stream, that Austin has a 7-letter word of arrayed. Yeah, what do the win chances become after Liard? Let's see, actually. Let's generate the choices. So you can see this is an enormous gap between Liard and the next best play. Look at that gap in winning percentage. If you play Liard, your chances jump up to 33%. And if you miss that, you are mired in the teens still. So this is a huge, huge difference. And I think it's very clear what is accounting for that difference. It's the combination of so many more points and 2 great tiles, like I said, to potentially hit. So, all right. So now Puneet has a really, really difficult choice. So this is where games get real complicated. So there are 3 tiles in the bag. You can look at all of these tiles. There are a bunch of situations here that you have to think about. You have to think about, well, can my opponent hit this R or hit the D or hit the K? And in fact, there's actually not that many things that you can do here that do that. So I'm just going to check, right? I'm going to do a little word list search here and see that to the R, there are no bingos that play. The only bingos with that set of letters right here that play with an R at all is heraldry, which does not fit. And then, yeah, haymaker and well, wait a second. Haymaker. Are we sure? Haymaker? I'm seeing only 1 A, and haymaker has 2 A's. Markedly, for sure. Markedly is absolutely a threat. But there's only 1 A, and haymaker has 2. So I could be misunderstanding. Obviously, that I misunderstood enough stuff on the stream. So, but there is definitely a threat there. But let me just see. A, D, E, H, J, L, M, R, V, Y, D. There's no bingos to the D of Liard at all. And then to the K, I'm only seeing markedly. So if I have something incorrectly entered, it's possible haymaker would be available as well. So anyway, you do have this bingo to take care of markedly. So this is a threat that you can lose to. And I think it's totally reasonable. The play that Puneet made of quins here, it blocks that, right? So the M of markedly would now, bolts M is not a word. So this handles that outcome. The problem is by keeping EV, you really do expose yourself to some scary draws, particularly where you have the other V. Oh yeah, maybe here. Yes. At this point, it's definitely still possible to have haymaker. Yep, absolutely. Sorry. So here is the situation, and I think at this point of the game, this is where we can simulate. Maybe I should add plies here. Not that that's going to help make better choices, but you can see quins doing pretty well in simulation, but it wants even more so. It wants him to just play this V, which is kind of funny. You would still probably lose to markedly, but you might beat literally everything else after this, just by making sure that even if you draw the J, I think you'll be okay, or even the other V, I think you'll still make it out. The problem here is when you play this and draw a combination of letters that's too unwieldy, and that is what happens here. So quins is the play. It also should note that quins looks especially good because there's no I's left. So the final I is hitting the board here, so you don't have to worry about underlapping plays with Chi, and it's like totally ironclad. It looks really good. Another potential thing that was mentioned was Sook here. Sook is kind of nice because, again, there's only 1 I left, and you have it. So it's possible playing Sook. You will lose to markedly, but yeah. Oh, does Sequind? Interesting. So maybe VAR is getting that love because of Sequind when you draw the E. That's a good point. I don't know. I think I'm not sure that you would get any extra credit. Yeah, it would bump your valuation up, but not the winning percentage. I agree, Weibin. I think that's correct. But that's a good call that sequined here as a potential upside play of just plopping your V down is kind of tempting. But yeah, I mean, from this perspective, you definitely Quinn's looks good, but you have to be prepared for some of these nightmare draws if you don't pick another vowel. And boy, this was like the worst possible draw that Puneet could have had. So you can see now on Austin's next rack, his tiles are ADEHMRY, and just fast forwarding to Puneet's rack, he draws out of those last 3 tiles in the bag JLV. It's hard to concoct a worse 3-tile draw for Puneet, frankly. The other V is bad enough, but a J to go with it, ensuring that you can't play both. That is the absolute perfect storm for Puneet here. And to Austin's credit, he recognizes it. And even though at this part of the game, he's down by 58. He's down by 58 points. How is it possible that he could come back? Yeah, VAR. Yes, that's one of the reasons that VAR. So at this part of the game, it's probably worth just getting into the idea of end game timing, right? So you want a couple of things close to the end of the game. You want to make sure that you don't empty the bag if you suspect your opponent is likely to have a bingo. In this case, we've seen that there is only markedly as a threat here. So only this one bingo is possible from that pool. So it's a little more reasonable than usual to empty the bag, especially if you're emptying the bag in a way that blocks that one bingo. So that is a major plus of Quinn's. One other thing that you want to be thinking about towards the end of the game is making sure that when it does become endgame, when the bag is officially empty, that you are the one with initiative to make 2 moves to your opponent's 1. And that's what cost Puneet here, right? So Puneet got, once the bag was empty after Quinn's, even though Puneet scored so many more points, with Quinn's, it set up a situation where Austin was going to get 2 turns in the endgame to Puneet's 1, and that was enough for Austin to vault ahead. So that's another consideration. Oh, it's another good point by AI Breddy that this spot here for the J is kind of scary to allow Austin to have it. But I actually feel like, it's still like that in general. You still outrun the J after Quinn's a lot of the time, as long as you have a decent follow-up play for yourself. But blocking the J is a very, very valid concern there with VAR too. So anyway, the tiles here, so many good scoring tiles that harmonize together, including that H, which is so important. The H to fit this right here and go down is a really, really heavy play, and he plays Hay first. And Puneet is just powerless to do pretty much anything here. He can't play both his J and his Vs. He plays his best move. When we figure out what is Puneet's best mathematical move here, it is Jar, which he plays, and then Austin follows up by playing Dram for really one of the more dramatic comeback wins that I've seen in recent memory. So it was a super, super cool game. This pre-end game is still really complicated. Probably could do with even more analysis than I'm giving it right now, just to go through and really play out all of the potential pathways that the game can end from here on out. But ultimately, this would have been a really tough one to avoid playing something like Quinn's for me, just because it blocks the lone bingo threat, and you're going to basically win unless you draw something, do badly. Oh, watching Quiver move up. Yeah, is that what happened here? Quiver. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Quiver does get quite a nice boost from where it initially was. And I'm sure that's, again, simply because getting rid of that V and using up a bunch of your tiles will help quite a bit. I wonder what happens in this exact scenario. Actually, let's try this. Um, I will not save this game over, but let's see. So quiver. This was the rack. Oh man. So you're in a little trouble here. This is probably still, so quiver blocks the H. That's really nice. Oh, a quiver could be bad news. Yeah, a quiver is going to be bad news. Yeah, so anything like this, and then totalizer and rhyme. Yeah, so rhyme and totalizer is still going to win. Okay, yep, that's the if you draw the A, you win, pretty much. Anytime the A is in the bag, you win the game after playing quiver. So that's nice. But I think you can do better here if you're Puneet, just because you are in a pretty good position on turn here. So very, very intriguing. Okay, well, why don't I just I hope it will work. If anybody wants to, if anybody, I guess, from the US or Canada, I know there's some of us watching along that are not from the US or Canada. Ooh, check that out. It is seamless. Yeah, my little prep beforehand. But if anybody wants to send Wanderer 15 a challenge, I did notice that when I put Wanderer 15 in here, it shows a bunch of different names. So this could be one of the reasons that people are having a hard time challenging me on here, because there's actually 3 of me. But if you're able to, if anyone's able to challenge me that sees this icon, this picture of me here, so this is me winning. So this is me winning nationals right here. So this is the one to send a challenge to, but I'll play a bot to start, and maybe we'll do one challenge before we, yeah, it is US and Canada only for now. So I'll play a bot on 15 minutes on the Grandmaster, which I really do think just picks the highest scoring play every time. And let's just play. But if somebody wants to send me a challenge, we can do that. But I always, whenever I'm commentating a tournament or I'm doing anything that doesn't, where I'm not actually playing, it makes me want to start playing again, start playing more. All right, let's see. Unshroud, Hounder. I could play like Hudud or something. I don't know. That's kind of a funny word. I don't want to miss a bingo in my first game. I guess I could play Hudud. I like the idea of using both of my U's. Of course, of course, of course. I use both of my U's and look what I get. And I can't even do anything with this, I don't think. Okay, that's fine. So be it. The draws are rigged on here, I say. So okay, there's your confirmation that we have some work to do with leave values on here. So, yes, fish for quincunx. That would be a great fish. How would I do that? Fish off OR somewhere. I could do it here. If I do that, and it would, yeah, it would still fit. It would still fit. You think you see Conquer? Yeah, I could play Conquer, burning my blank in classic computer style. Oh, I need to not do that. Conquern. This is such an odd situation to keep the Q here. I guess I'll just play Con. I hate this. But there is an open U. Whatever. Oh, God. Maybe I should have played Conquer. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what I get. So, yeah, those were 2 games. I mean, there were a number of really interesting ones. I might, it's possible I'll do this again once I look. I didn't have a ton of time to look through the game files or the stream. But those 2 came to mind as ones that I wanted to look a little bit more closely at. Ooh, okay. I think I probably... I was going to say I must have something here, but I guess I don't. There's no queue burning play that I can do here. I don't have anything. Binac, yes. Yeah, Binac was one of the competitors. I guess he'll probably come back to Twitch and let us know how it went for him. Yeah, I could try playing Binac as a moving tribute. Doesn't let me, unfortunately. All right. This is let's do this. It's 35. I mean, this is 35 points, so I might as well. And okay, so now, all right, so I got 35 points, and now I'm threatening actually having a play here that I like. So that will be decent. But yeah, on the Battle Royale front, I'm not sure. I posted this on the Discord, but it has definitely become like my #1 distraction and procrastination tool, and I got to 19,000 MMR. So it is at the point now where if the lobby isn't stacked, it's going to be very difficult to win points. So to get points from a win. All right, this is probably. I guess I should do this rather than exchange. Right? I suppose. Yeah, I have the screenshot from that actually too. Hold on. I have that screenshot. I didn't post the screenshot on Discord, but I have it right here. Oh, no, I don't. You guys can't see. Hold on. Where can I do this? I can just add window capture. Is that showing up? No. All right, whatever. I don't know why I don't have like a display capture here, a screen cap. There we go. There it is. So here's my screen capture of this. I won the game and lost 14 points. So so it goes. So it goes. All right, let's play Chin. Oh, you like my title? Yeah, ouch.png. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care that much. It's so fun. Like for me right now, I still feel like I am getting, first of all, I will say this. I love my new keyboard. My God, so overdue. I feel like I am so much more accurate now, and I'm always like 99% of the time compared to like 50% of the time before, I'm in the right spot where I want to be. It's not a fancy keyboard. It's just a regular one. I've never even heard of the brand that it is. So, yeah, but it's definitely helped a lot. All right, hold on a second. Juror is the play. I'm losing by a lot. Do I have some L play other than locks here? Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that's another thing. So on my personal channel, I have not heard back from Twitch yet on whether they will grant me Twitch partnership. So it's been a week. It's now been a week. I applied on Monday of last week. And I'm hopeful to hear back soon, I guess. But haven't heard yet. So that's no update, unfortunately. I will let everybody know what happens when either I am rejected or not. I think I'm very likely to be rejected the first time around, just because I haven't really established a long running, pattern of hitting the metrics that they want to see. But I gave them a really good, story of like, hey, I would be the first word game streamer, the dedicated word game streamer on the platform. I got all these big dreams for us to be much more like chess on Twitch and all this other stuff. That can't be as much as I can get here, can it? Surely I can do better. Maybe not. So, yeah, Tactic says Twitch can be mercurial. One streamer I watched met the requirements for more than a year. Yeah, so I'm curious to know, you don't have to, tell me that much unless you would like to, about what is that streamer's focus? Do they play a game that is off the beaten path, or do they play, I don't know, like Fortnite or something that's pretty well saturated? Because that does seem to be It is Fortnite. Okay, so that's the only thing I can really hang my hat on, is that I do not represent a market that is sort of well, established on Twitch, and I've heard the conventional wisdom is that they like that. Wow, what a weird play. What does that mean? Avel. Um, okay, so this is pretty close so far, this game. I have like Gustos or something. I guess I could just play Guts or Gust. I don't think this is a word. Yeah. Oh, well, Avello is definitely not a word. Yeah. Oh, it is a word. Okay. Why didn't I thought, was there ever a time when this wasn't a word? All right, let's think. Is that something I want to play here? I'm not sure. Yeah, I thought it was that for Gustos. I guess it's probably fine. Plus, we were talking a lot on the stream about how you don't want to give your opponent extra information that you have another S, and the computer is just the person to not care about that for. I don't care whether the computer knows that I have an S, because it can't know that. It doesn't know anything. So I'll play Gustos here, I guess. And didn't draw great, but that's all right. We'll see. This is kind of dicey. I could see myself losing this. Ooh, goads. Okay, that's not. Oh, that's a nice place to play. I didn't think about that. Yeah, even if it did know, it wouldn't use it. Yes, exactly. It's hard to say what does a computer know. Well, wait, now I could play this, and this is like, if I draw 2 consonants, I'm in business here. The nice thing about this is even if I don't hit an S hook. Wait, do I have my draw on stream here? Hold on. At some point, I won't need to do this quite as carefully. Is this going to show up? Yeah, pretty much. So the nice thing about this is that this is going to probably stay forever because the computer will not know to block this. So let me just look at the unseen tiles. Oh, well, would I play this? No, I would undouble my A's. Plus, I don't want to create a situation where I can put an F there, actually. That would be doubly bad for that reason. So only question is, do I have any other thing I want to do? No, I think this is good. I like the idea of putting this S hook on the board forever. I hope it doesn't blank bingo. Again, the blanks are denoted by these tiles here. So if it blank bingos me, then we know there's a bug that needs resolution. For sure. So let's hope not. So I didn't quite draw well enough yet, but I'm hopeful to continue to fish to that spot, basically in perpetuity here. Okay, yo is the play for the computer. What now? Do I dare just do something like that? Well, not that, but do I do this? Do I do this? No, that seems definitely worse. Oh, maybe this. This might be what to do just because it's not actually that easy for it to hit this V with the unseen tiles that are here. I'm not really scared. There's no Y or anything that hit extra hard. A lot of that, like if it has an M, it's going to be not that easy. Maybe it could play movie. That's like the worst thing that could happen pretty much. Kiva. The worst things that could happen are Kiva and movie, I think. Hey, Chess Bunzo. Good to see you. We had some cameos earlier from CL Smith and a couple other people. Just wanted to say that looking over the standings and seeing lots of first timers, some chess players dabbling in Scrabble for the first time, that was like one of the most gratifying things that I've seen in Scrabble in a long time. So I truly hope that you had a great experience at your first Scrabble tournament, and that it won't be the last. And some of us have to pay it forward too and start. I have had in mind to go to a chess tournament and get my ass kicked at some point. So, but if I were to do that, I would definitely want to like actually learn an opening and learn some stuff before I do that. But that was really cool to see. Really fun. Great to hear. Really glad to hear that. All right, let's play this. Oh man. Okay, so score is still pretty close here, but it's gonna. So I have this S hook just sitting here forever. I really doubt that this is gonna get blocked. What rating am I? Is that a question for me? I am the lowest of the low. All I've ever done for months and months, I was doing Lichess puzzles every day, and I am basically plateaued at the 2000 level of Lichess puzzles. So that's it. I have no knowledge of any openings, no other chess skills to my name whatsoever. So, as Eric Rosen ably displayed when we did our collaboration, where he beat me without any pieces, pretty much. So, yeah. But all right, let's see. Just want to think. I need to use some. Similar to you, I see. Yeah, I just I have now. I think it's fair to say I know enough about chess to watch a chess stream and be able to appreciate really good commentary that makes it clear to me what the players are doing. And that's been so instructive to me to try to pattern my own Scrabble commentary after that, to watch chess broadcasts and just hear how they approach it, and realize that there is a barrier to entry to chess just the same way that there is to Scrabble. The words are a little more outlandish, whereas in chess, you can easily just learn how the pieces move and understand, but it's really difficult to look at a chessboard and understand the patterns of it without guidance and without good commentary. And I think the same kind of applies to Scrabble. Really, really want to hone my craft there. So this doesn't feel great to do, but I'm not sure how I'm supposed to use 3 vowels here. I really want to use 3 vowels, and I don't want to just do something like this that scores no points at all. If I draw 2 consonants, I'll probably bingo a lot. The question, though, is maybe I should play this. This looks maybe a little better than keeping the O. Let's try. Okay, be fleas. All right, be fleas. This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted the whole time. We set this S hook up, and we didn't get to use it for 3 or 4 turns, but eventually we're gonna get the. I think. Let's see if I get the absolute stinger. Ooh, okay. It plays out learn as a bingo, but it empties the bag in the process, and I'm gonna win the game. All right, we did it, gang. We beat the Grandmaster computer, despite, well, I don't know. You guys can tell me if I missed anything big there. Okay, if anybody from US or Canada would like to play, and you have to send the correct Wanderer 15, the one with the picture of me holding the check, you have to send me a challenge on playscrabble.com. If anyone wants to do that, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll play one more game against the bot, and we'll call it a stream. Basically, I think the next stream that you will see on this channel, I would like to add, is going to be hosted by none other than Axer So I'm very, very excited for this. Axer will be our first sponsored streamer on this channel. So I'm really, really eager to, have that be something that becomes the norm. And Josh is going to be sort of rewarded for his efforts so far. Yeah, Axert Pog. Why don't I stream on my own channels? I plan to. I'm trying, Alec. Maybe I'll stream. Oh man, I'm still a little tired. I think after this stream, I'll probably take it easy this evening, but maybe on Wednesday night, I'll stream on Wanderer 15 again. Definitely want to stream on my own channels in addition to this one. No, not just chasing If I was chasing the 75 viewer streams, I could have had Crescent City Cup be on my channel. But no, we're trying also to build this channel up quite a bit. Is there any Scrabble bot similar to chess bots that actually plays well? Yeah, the Hasty bot on Woogles is a very, very strong opponent, and it's only going to get stronger when it learns to sim. But you can also play against the this computer engine that I was playing on before here. You can actually play this thing, and we don't want to save this. But if I have just me versus computer, I can play against the computer on a championship player mode. So this is like a great test. Do I have a bingo here? So I can face the computer and play. I might have a bingo here, but oh yeah, I do. Hold on. Let me not miss a bingo here. So I can play a bingo, and then I simply wait, and the computer will use its best simulation technique to come up with a play. And as you can see, it played Eggeries against me. So then I would make my next play and wait for it. You see the green bar at the bottom of the screen. So this is the strongest computer engine and analysis tool that we have. And this is definitely something where, you know, at some point we want all these tools to sort of be native to web as well at some point. So anyway, that's the answer to that question. So yeah, but these bots are typically just pick the highest scoring plays, which is a very, very, very exploitable strategy. As you can see, I was able to set an S hook up just knowing that none of the highest scoring plays available to the computer would ever block this S hook. So, all right, let's play one more. Let's play one more against the bot. Ooh, this looks kind of like, what's the, oh, Batavia's, I think is a word, right? I have, sometimes when I see a rack like this, I just get this little itch in my mind that somewhere is an 8-letter word with these letters, and I don't think it's with anything that's on the board right now. But could be mistaken. I'm just gonna look for a second. Yeah, I'm gonna assume not. So I think the logical play here is either to play ABBA for 21, or if I don't want to create this scoring spot. Oops, why is that happening? Hold on. Draw on stream. Yeah, there we go. If I don't want to create that scoring spot, I can play it for slightly fewer points underneath here. Wait, why is this happening? There. Oh, wait, that's more points. Is that possible? Yeah, I get more points and I don't make the scoring spot. Oh, it's because I get an extra double letter. Okay, so this looks good to me. Okay, so we like that. This looks kind of good to me too. I don't, but maybe not. Maybe I don't have a bingo here. Ooh, okay, very nice. X play for 40. Whip salt. Whip last. So pretty good play here would be something like Pilaw, I think. This looks like it should be good. It's tempting to do something like, it is tempting to play shorter and play something like Paw. The reason why this is tempting is that I have an L that would potentially go down for Mule here. But this score is only 32, and that nuance of that play is not really that helpful to me. So I'm going to play Pilaw. Oof, okay. Not great. Maybe I have some, like, Verastic or something. It's not quite. Evac. I feel like evac, this is a word that I think I've seen tried. I think I've seen this tried in, like, Babel Royale before and said to myself, like, yeah, that really should be a word, shouldn't it? So Muffin with Tentacles says someone coded this bot to open vertically. I guess so, actually. I've noticed that it does that, but I feel like it somehow switches back and forth. I've seen it open horizontally before. So maybe it was like a V1 was horizontal, and then they made it even better by letting it open vertically, I guess. I don't know. The vertical opening debate rages on. Yeah, you and me both, Muffin. I think we both are two horizontal fans. The nasty verties doing their thing, which is a blight on the game of Scrabble. No, just kidding. Or am I? All right, let me see. I have weird letters here. How do I mean, do I literally play like jurist here? This doesn't seem... Leaving CV 26. Ugh. I really don't want to do that. Something here. This does not seem right at all. I would love it if not for the V. CRST is a great combination. This is a weird... I don't want to play Jurist, and I don't want to play Ahi, and where does that leave me? Oh, I play Vitric. I'm supposed to play Vitric here. This is the play, for sure. Yeah, Vitric has to be it. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, stand at that. As soon as I saw it, I felt like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the play I'm supposed to do. All right, now I have the Q and a U to play through, and Vitrix is also good. I feel like Vitrix is like it's like the science of glass or blowing glass or something like that. I think it has to do with that. So I don't think I have a good play here yet, but I can just play quad probably and do decently for myself. Quad jets, that's not a word, but it could be. Tri-jets is a word. Somebody once played Quinjets again. I think it was actually Marlon. Played Quinjets against me, which was surprising, to say the least. All right, let's play quad. Oh, Jeepers. Jeepers, what a play. Jeepers, if I can play this, I'll be so excited. No, not Prudencio, Hill. Oh, man, good golly. Jeepers, we got a good place to play. Wait, what? What? Oh, right. It just didn't. There we go. Okay, 115. Could that possibly be... I mean, what is this? This isn't going to be anywhere close to 115. 91. Yeah, Jeepers, creepers. Where'd you get those tiles? All right, that's nice. Of course, this board... Hey, Jeremy, by the way. Nice to see you. Now, this board is still super open, though, so can't rest on my laurels at all. What I would like to play that I'm almost certain will be blocked is I-fulls. No, don't tell me tiles should be connected. This would be great just to get all this clunk off. Oh, man, I'm going to get to play that. But let's just quickly imagine, like, what if I play... Oh my God. It fits. Look at that. Okay, 64. Jeez. This seemed plenty good enough. 42, but there is no way I can't play this. So, well, hold on. The validation. There we go. Yeah, we're aware of this validation issue. When you type too fast, it takes some time. But anyway, this S is obviously super, super scary. I mean, I don't love leaving this open, but I have to take all these extra points here. There's no way around it. Ooh, okay. Missed wire is... I feel like I've seen that be played before, too, but it's not a valid word. Miss wires. This seems such a word, but it's not. I've seen it be played and challenged before. Whoa! Quadrated. Oh, okay. Didn't expect that. All right, fair enough. Yeah, that's a cool play. I mean, again, this is a great example. I don't think this is likely to be the right play, given that it just burnt its blank, but it is pretty cool. You S-hook me all night long. Oh, man. That's nice. I actually, when I was first starting to stream, I went onto some lyrics website and I looked for every song that had Scrabble in it at all, and I got all these lyrics that I could play. Like, there's a bunch of these that I have now. Hold on, it's in my, where is it? It's in my Dropbox. So I have like almost every song that has anything to do with Scrabble, I have it here. So like this. Hold on.
Q is for cat.
Okay, Q, cat. What?
Yeah, it's Q-A-T. It's an evergreen shrub. It's a perfect Scrabble word because it's a Q with no U. There's not many of those.
You have too much time on your hands.
That is a legitimate song by the Bare Naked Ladies, in fact. And then I have, well, we have like the well, some of these are not appropriate for this channel. Barry Manilow.
The pictures on the wall we can split in half, and you can have the Scrabble game.
Yeah, see, he's having a sad breakup, and he's letting, this is why we in the Scrabble community have canceled Barry Manilow. He allowed his breakup partner to take the Scrabble game, and we know that's not cool. Okay, what am I supposed to do here? I feel like this is a pretty strong play, actually. Just leaving the S open forever. Again, we are playing with the UK dictionary here, so that allows me to do that. But if I could play something here, I would like to. So, yeah. Yeah, drip shot. That's right. How could Barry do that? How could Barry Manilow do this to us? Unacceptable. All right, let's just go ahead and play this. All right, hold on. It's not quite. We got to give it a second. There we go. It validated. Oof. Okay, so I'm playing a very dangerous game, letting the computer hit this S where it's very likely to find all of its best scoring plays. So that's not smart for me to do. So hopefully I don't live to regret that. I have other, hold on. I have other, hopefully this doesn't get me in trouble with, like, okay, grooves, I can live with that. That's not that bad. What's this one? Okay, somebody that has Scrabble letters in a pile. I don't remember which one that was. Yeah, there's a whole bunch more in this file. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure of the work safeness of them. All right, that's a word. I don't think that's very good. I think I would probably want to play melt or something. This is risky because melt takes a Y, and there is a Y available. A big play in that spot would score a ton, but I think I can probably withstand that, maybe. The Z, okay, so the Z is still lurking. There's a big Z spot here. There's a big Z spot here, maybe. If there's just the right tiles for the computer, they'll hit that. I can't really do much about those things. Oh, maybe now is the time to play up with Vitrix or something. I don't think that's not a word. Something like lest. No, that's not good enough, I don't think. Okay, I could play ment instead of melt if I want, but let's just play melt. If it has a melty play, I'll regret it. Otherwise, I probably won't. Oh, well now, okay, now I have a massive play up here. I have 2 S's too, so all I have to do is just, actually, I kind of hope it has the Z or the Y here, because I'm going to get an enormous play at the top of the board. And we'll just have to see. But yeah, Scrabble's in a lot. Ooh, look at that. Agnize. I didn't see that coming. All right, well, this doesn't change much. I'm definitely playing Gush here. And drawing Ionizer and Noisier. So Noisier right there should do the trick. Assuming it doesn't get blocked, and I bet I have other stuff somewhere, don't I? Maybe. We'll see. What do I have if that spot gets blocked? Ionizer, Noisier. Okay, did not get blocked. And it emptied the bag, so. Okay, there we go. Another win against the computer. Oh, ironies. Ironies, yes, another word in there. Ironies would have played for more with overlaps in that spot. Whoopsies. Okay, good call. Good call. Should have seen that. Okay, gang. Just wanted to hop on at my scheduled time. Basically, every week we've carved out these 2 hours of the afternoon that I'm going to be on this channel doing some streaming, doing some game breakdowns. Hopefully, in the future, we're going to, at some point in the near-ish future, we're going to start to have native tournaments at playscrabble.com. And of course, I know for those following outside the US and Canada, I know it's annoying, but we're hoping to have that squared away at some point soon as well. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and call it a stream. I'm not sure if I actually don't have any streamers followed on the Scrabble Twitch, so I have to do my own Twitch and see if there's any appropriate Scrabble people to raid. Anybody's playing, maybe I could, if someone's playing Battle Royale, we could do that. Okay, sure. Somebody is streaming Battle Royale, whose stream title is Scrabble but Funny. So we'll raid that person. It'll be eerie for this person to get a raid from actual Scrabble, so that's kind of fun. Scrabble but lol, that's right. So anyway, Battle Royale, which is basically like Scrabble but with quite the entertaining twist. Not that Scrabble isn't the original, the #1 word game of all time, to which I am hopelessly devoted forever. But Battle Royale is certainly a pretty easy leap from here to there. So I'm not familiar with this streamer, so let's just head on over there and watch some more word gaming and have some fun. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks, everybody else, for hanging out and chatting, watching, rewatching some of the coolest games from the Crescent City Cup stream. We're going to probably get all of those games posted at some point, and I'm going to be doing more with that content. Thank you, Tactics, very much. Appreciate you. Yeah, there's a lot of good vibes from this weekend. It was super fun. Happy to pop on again. And again, we'll see Josh, Sokol, Axer Typo at this channel, I believe on Saturday. And I'll be here each week on Tuesday. So take care, everybody. Have a good day until we meet again.